Well guys, it's Sunday, it's Mother's Day, and unfortunately for the wife, but I finally get to use the new U-Active tool for the very first time. So kind of come in handy, right time for it. So just recently got this, and the issue I'm dealing with the wife's car, the Mercedes, is that she's driving along, it's stalled out and can't start. Now fuel pressure wise, there's nothing there. I've checked the fuse and the fuse is good in the rear SAM. I'm about to go into the rear SAM module, pull the relay, and see what we get with the U-Active. So that's coming up. Okay, so I dug into the back here. Here's the rear SAM module. See if I can hold the phone here where you can see it and hear me at the same time. But to show, so it was fuse 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the fuse for the fuel pump. You can see we got power on both sides. And then according to the diagram, looks like this guy is our relay for that fuel pump. So I'm going to pull that thing out and get the U-Active put into position. It didn't take long to find the proper cord. You can see it matches up to the relay pinout, and I got it plugged into the back side of the U-Active. The new tool is it can work with some of the newer style 5-pin type relays, so that's the difference. That's why there's an extra pin right. Zoom in, an extra pin right in there. But anyways, this does the trick. So we're gonna plug this guy in and then see what we got. Alright, so key is on. It won't show anything as far as the ground side, but I can tell you that we got power on there. We got power on our one side for the active end of it. We also have power on 30, which would be considered pin 30. That would be coming from the fuse. But anyways, and I can get that light to show by supplying a ground. But what I need to do is I need to go in this thing and activate the pump itself. Yeah, which one? I have to look at the pin again. Hold on. Okay, so it looks like we're 8 of 03. So it's already on. There we go. You know what? I'll do a scan later. Let's just get into the actual ECM. Enter. Switch is on. Takes a bit here. Alright, so we want to do, I wonder, actuation test for special functions. Well, how about we do this? Let's just check for codes first. Relay, short to ground. Yeah, it was probably me doing what I did here, so we'll back out of that. Let's just see if it's an actuation test. Fuel pump. Prerequisite, the engine run. Okay, well, that's the problem. It won't run. So number 3 is on, number 4 is off, F12 is totally to stop. So let's just see by commanding on if we get our little light to come on. And we do. So we do have control. However, so right now, that pump being on, and realistically, I believe, let's see where that relay is. So this is the relay, and most of your relays will have the little diagram on the back side. In this case, it says it's pin 3 and 5. That's the contact pointing between 1 and 2 is the triggering, the ground and the power, which is this guy right here. So right now this pump should be running. No, it wouldn't, because I need to activate the switch. But pin 3 and 5, when you look at the relay, usually the middle one here is usually pin 30, and then you got an 87, then 87A. So from the configuration of this, I'd say it's probably pin 87. So we're going to flip this to 87. Let's go see if we have any fuel pressure. We do not. So therefore, That's my suspicion. We have no fuel pump. She might be burned out. So, where do we go from here? Well, we may have to pull the rear seat and access the rear pump to get a full 100%, but at this point, it's pretty well confirmed to believe we got a bad fuel pump. Okay guys, I figured I'd take it one step further. Instead of just declaring saying, hey, it's the pump, how about if we have a little more definitive proof? So, the yellow line is actually attached to the voltage side of it, showing the fact that it actually has 12 volts. The amp clamp is attached, and get this right here, the yellow is actually the amp clamp, and the green trace, which you'll see down there, will be the voltage. So when I activate this guy, you see we got a little something going on there, and you think, well, that looks like a clean little waveform. But look at the amperage. That's extremely low. Now to take it one more step beyond that, let me show you something. So I disconnected the fuel pressure gauge because I was like, well, is it just the fact that the gauge is not faulty connection or something? So here's the port, and I don't recommend everybody doing this or trying this, but look what we got. There's absolutely nothing coming out of this thing. So now can we confirm this as a fuel pump problem? I would say so. You see the waveform, you see the voltage to it, you see there's a little amperage, a little something going on there, spinning the pump, but it's not near enough. Okay, so I came inside the shop where it's a little darker, so I didn't have a little less glare. Hopefully that works out a little bit better as far as seeing it. But so this is the waveform pattern off of that Mercedes fuel pump, and you would think that it looks like a fairly decent looking waveform, right? But being only at 2 amps or so. I'm checking out the time base. So if we get from where cursor 1 is, we do have a tally of eight total humps in there. So there's the starting point and there's an ending point. And we look at the time differential of that, it's 5.5 milliseconds. So if we take, let's see if my finger could do it, 60,000, and you divide that by that 5.5, you get a tally of 10,909 RPMs. That's pretty substantial. So that thing is really spinning in there. Kind of surprised I don't really hear it humming, but yeah, it makes you kind of wonder what's going on, huh? So I may take a look at it a little closer. It seems like to me it's like free spinning, so I don't know, maybe they're inside the pump, maybe there's a broken hose or something where it's not, there's no actual real restriction. So I'll check into it and then report back on a different video. Well, due to time restraints, I had to quickly get the pump replaced, but on this Mercedes. And the thing, I mean, everything I just assembled in there, that didn't seem to appear any kind of a damage of any type. And I've been looking this line over completely to see if there's any kind of cracks or anything of, rhyme or reason why it wouldn't build pressure. And I honestly did not see anything that would indicate a problem. Maybe there's an O-ring or something down there in that fitting on this, if I can get my thumb down here in this lower end. Otherwise the rest, I mean, it all seems to be tight, so I guess I'm just gonna have to chalk it up as being the motor itself. It wasn't able to do the suction, able to pull the fuel up like it needed to. The fuel filter is downstream. I mean, other than there is a strainer down at the very bottom of the pump like your typical would see, but otherwise, that was the actual fix. I started it up yesterday, let it run for a bit. So this is rest pressure after it's sitting about 20 hours now. So at 20 psi, but as soon as I turned the key, it instantly went bam right to 60. So and it fired up like it hadn't done it in quite a while, really. So anyways, that was the problem, the issue, and I will capture an actual good waveform as far as what that current ramp looks like on it, and add that to the video as well. Okay, so we're back here on the Mercedes after the new fuel pump, and you'll see I have it reinstalled in there. Took the original relay back out so that way I could control it. Plus, I wanted to get another capture of what a known good waveform looks like. So we'll reconnect to the for the U active, and obviously all I need to do is turn on an actual 87 that runs the pump. Well, actually, I'll just go ahead and do it. So it's on now. And you can see we got ourselves our 60 psi. This is the actual waveform I just captured prior to, as I was making sure everything's all set up. I'll just go ahead and run it. You'll see that's what she's doing. So you can see on an average around about 7 amps of actual power. And then we stop that and we can measure. Let's see if we can find a nice, it looks like possibly we'll just go right prior to it, between that one and this one right here. So that's basically, that's a full, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, oh, one more, 8. So I guess we're right there, because it is an 8 commutator. Let me see if let me back this out. Maybe it'll show a little view here. All right. Let me do this. I'm going to shut the key off. Hold on here. Alright, so I shut the key off, shut the pump off. Let's pull up a waveform here. Well, you can kind of see there's a characteristic here that looks like it would be pretty equal. So let's just use that. From there to right there, thereabouts. And what we got is 8.65 as far as milliseconds. So, let's see if I'll find a calculator here. There we go. I did this last time. So you got 60,000 milliseconds per minute. So we'll do 60,000. And you divide that. Divide that by 8.65. 8.65. So she's running, oh sorry, out of view there. So it's running about 7,000 RPM then. So, and that's just at an idle. So you can see that's the difference between obviously the real bad, which didn't have anything much at all. It was pulling about just a little over 2 amps of current and was spinning over 10,000 RPM. Well, you can see what a little difference would be when it's actually pushing fuel. So, and that's just key on, engine off. And theoretically, I didn't even really need to have the key on to run the pump because I bypassed the actual relay. But needless to say, that doesn't matter. Anyways, you can see now this is what a known good waveform actually looks like, and I may end up doing something a little more for a little bonus for the video. So stay tuned. So hopefully you can hear me. The fan's on, so it's a little noisy, but I'm sure people probably taking note of the fact that I had a pressure transducer here on my gauge set. Let me show you how this actually worked out. Now on the snap-on, I guess I could have tried to done it with a voltage, but I'd try to do it with the actual pressure readings. So I have it set for 100 psi, but unfortunately it's not as accurate. It's like you'll see in the key on, engine off, just doing the pump itself, that even though gauge pressure said 60 psi, the transducer would actually read somewhere like around 45, I think is what it was. So it's a little off as far as its peak. But the thing I was after is I wanted to see the actual pressure drop for each injector. That's what these are right here. So this red trace is my fuel injector on cylinder 1, and so when that thing turns on and it drops down, because of electrical versus the latency time when fluid, it took a little time for it to kind of register on the gauge. So this drop is the actual injection drop. So when the injector opened, the overall pressure level dropped a little bit, showing that it opened up, and then when it closes it comes back up. Now this area right here is the actual recoil of that fluid. On some fuel injection systems you might see that it has a fuel dampener, you know, on one end or the other for the fuel pressure, and what that does is it takes away that hammering shock effect that happens in the fuel rail. So that's what this noise is right here. But here's injector, the second one that fires, shocks again, third injector that fires, and then the fourth one that actually happens, and of course you got the cycle all over again. What I'd like to see, I'd have to pull up the actual firing order for this, but I'm curious to see what cylinders these are. You know, I mean, obviously I know that's cylinder 1, but what are the other 3? I'm just going to make the assumption, say it's like a 1, 3, 4, 2 firing order. If that's the case, then that would be for cylinder 3. But the interesting part is seeing how, if you look closely with it, you'll see that the pressure on this dropped more compared to cylinder 1 or cylinder 4, whatever this happens to be. So does that mean that this injector is open more, stuck longer, or, you know, stuck open more? It's quite possible. It's either that, or maybe injector 1 isn't fully, you know, like slightly clogged or something. It's got 184,000 miles, right around there, so you know, it's very possible it's time to take these injectors out and have them serviced, have them cleaned, flow tested. So my buddy Wayne at Injector Masters, you might be seeing this soon and seeing some injectors. But anyways, I just want to share this a little bit, kind of a little bonus footage for, you know, showing what exactly that pressure transducer is doing on the side of my mechanical gauge. So now you know. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Hope this was interesting.